What's up guys, Gemma here and back again for another episode of Games You Must Play. And today I was looking through this playlist and noticing that I only had one video on PS2 Games You Must Play. Now for those that aren't familiar with the series, it's not really hidden gems, it is lesser talked about titles. I'm going to talk about 3 additional PS2 games that really piqued my interest when they came out, and I still love them just as much today. Now if you don't own an Xbox or a GameCube and you have these games on your PS2, or you don't, go out and buy them for your PS2 if you don't have an original Xbox, because some of them you can get them on the Cube, as well as our delicious Xbox original or original Xbox, however you guys want to look at it. Now, little teaser for you, at the very end of this video I'm going to give you a little sneaky peek into something that is coming over the weekend that I'm really excited about. So guys, just want to say thank you for the support. We're going to dive in, and as always, smash your recommendations, your comments, and definitely let me know some of your thoughts on these titles if you've played them. Without further ado guys, let's take a look at game numero uno. So it is this lovely game right here. I have a platinum or a classics version of SSX Tricky. Now I first played this with my friend's boyfriend. It was her and him, and he got a PS2 and he had a demo of this game back in the day, and I just love the eccentricity of SSX Tricky. I don't think it's an overly consistent kind of series, but this for me feels absolutely phenomenal. It's not like your typical snowboarding games. It is very eccentric. You can literally defy gravity and just do some amazing tricks on a snowboard, things that literally nobody in the world would be able to do, and that was the appeal for me. It was that eccentricity. Now I really do prefer the PS2 version over the GameCube version, because I feel that the frame rate seems a little bit more steady, and I love the fact that you've got all of the kind of L1, R1, L2, R2 buttons to pull off the tricks. I find it that SSX Tricky on the Cube doesn't really fit the kind of controller as well as it does on the PS2, so I definitely think it needs a little bit more love in our retro gaming world. And what I want to know from you guys is, what do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? Another thing that I really like about it is just the freedom when you're in the air. You can just like getting that air on SSX Tricky, gliding over hills, just feels so liberating. You literally do have that kind of sense of I felt quite overwhelmed when I first played it. Really did feel overwhelmed, and that's what I get a little bit when I play it now, because pulling off loads of tricks, more often than not I crash. But I think again that's part of the fun with the SSX Tricky. A bit of a mouthful to say as well nonetheless, but I really do love this game. It feels solid. I think it's aged reasonably well as well, because I think we're in that era now where PS2 games are starting, some of them are starting to not look great. Some of them do look really great, and I think SSX Tricky looks really solid. So guys, I'm sure most of you have played it. If you haven't, let me know what other games in the series you have played. I know my brother likes this one. Smash your comments below before we take a look at number 2. So next on this list is Burnout 3 Takedown. Wow, just wow. This is probably my favourite out of the 3, but you guys don't know what I'm putting in my 3rd, so you guys can tell me what your favourite of this 3 is, but I think this is definitely my favourite, and I really like. This is probably the only racing game that I've played that I feel like I'm at such high speed that it gets that adrenaline going. It connects with you physiologically. Love the kind of slow-mo or impact time, and I love the fact that you can still use your D-pad just to flip that car that bit more in the mode where you have to crash and gain loads of points, just to really smash into things and get a few more points and make it just feel that little bit more tangible. It is a little bit over the top. It is a little bit over the top, but I love it, and my auntie and I actually have some very fond memories of playing Burnout 3 Takedown. When it first came out on PS2 actually, she did have it on launch. Really good game. I first played it on the original Xbox, but being a Sony girl, I definitely did, I still do own it now on the PS2. Really good game. Now again, I think one of the strong points for me about that game is that sense of realism. I've already talked about the high speeds and how they're kind of blurred, you know, they're kind of, we would call them in, you know, I guess shabby terms, the go faster stripes, you know, that sense of going at high speed and things just rushing past. And when that is the case in Burnout, I feel that the controls are really sensitive. Like really good controls, really nice. You don't crash too much into the sides of things. You can typically get from A to B and around the tracks and around the streets reasonably well, you know. I found with the Gran Turismo series, just flipping back a little bit, that I had real trouble with the cars and kind of crashing into things. I was just absolutely crap at Gran Turismo. Burnout 3, however, was one of the very few kind of serious-ish racing games that I found that I could actually take a corner at high speed without crashing. So really like that element, really do like that sense of realism and immersion with Burnout 3 Takedown. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are below. I love it, but my question is, do you? My third and final game for this second PS2 Games You Must Play is Time Splitters 2. Probably one of my favourite games of the series. Instantly back in the day I was drawn to the very kind of cartoony graphics. I've played it now, the textures lack a little bit. This is one of those games that for me hasn't aged as well, but the cartoony graphics really kind of seem to extenuate the kind of facial features of the characters when they were talking. And again, back in the day, I remember thinking I feel quite immersed in this. It is a first-person shooter game, and it has often been compared to GoldenEye on the N64, and the reason behind that is a lot of developers that worked on GoldenEye, which we have somewhere in this delicious N64 collection. I don't know where it is now. I can't find it, but it's there anyway. Some of the developers that worked on GoldenEye actually worked on Time Splitters 2, so that's why there's a lot of the resemblances. And maybe that was part of the kind of pulling power and appeal, because GoldenEye was so successful and there were traits of that in Time Splitters 2. I guess people sometimes go with what's familiar to them, and there's loads of people out there that often talk very fondly about GoldenEye, so Time Splitters 2 is definitely up there in that PS2 library. The emphasis is travelling through time. You get to see lots of different worlds and play as different characters depending on what world you're in. Excellent first person shooter, very quirky in places as well. You do come across again some eccentric characters, which I really do like, but guys, it is an awesome game. Time Splitters 2, if you haven't got it, if you go into retro markets this year, you go into your expos, make sure you pick a copy up. So there we go, Games You Must Play, the second PlayStation 2 installment of this series. I'll link the entire playlist in the cards if you guys want to check it out. Again, smash your comments below, but before we go, before we roll the end slide, I just want to say thank you for all the support that you guys have been giving me. I'm going to show you a sneaky peek of what's to come in a video. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put it out Saturday, Sunday or Monday, so keep an eye out this weekend on my channel. If you're kind enough, hit that subscribe button, it really helps my channel grow. Let's take a look at what's to come before we roll the credits. So, like I said, over the weekend you guys can expect a full software and hardware review of the GPD XD gamepad running the PlayStation 1 emulator here. You guys can see a glorious Ridge Racer and now some Street Fighter Alpha 3, both classic games. Now, I'm going to be giving you a rundown of all of the emulators that are available on this, showing you some tips and tricks on how to download, and just generally showing you around the device in case you want to buy one. Now, I just want to say thank you to funstock.co.uk for sending this to me, and there will be a link in the description when I do the review this weekend as to where you can buy it and snag yourself 5% off using code TheGebs24 on all Funstock products. So guys, make sure you subscribe, keep an eye out for this video. My name's Gemma, take care, see you soon.